Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight for the annual Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame celebration presented by J.P. Morgan Chase. So, as mentioned earlier, I'm Paul Costell. I'm the region manager for J.P. Morgan Chase. I'm born in Louisville, bred in Lexington, go Big Blue, every night. And I feel fortunate to have worked for the bank for over 30 years. Feel fortunate to have been married to my bride for a similar period of time, because without her support, I wouldn't be here tonight. So thank you, Michelle. I'm fortunate in my role to get to be involved in the community. I believe it's important, as do all my peers at J.P. Morgan Chase, to give back. And one of the ways I do that is serve on the Kentucky Chamber Board, which I might relate to you that I believe in the last 2 years, the Kentucky Chamber Board has done a phenomenal job of helping our legislature pass pro-business legislation, which helps our economy, helps all of us, helps the entrepreneurs. Let's hear it for the Kentucky Chamber. And now, if you were able to be with us last year, and I can't remember if it was the year before too, but I know it was last year, you're in for a real treat. We're pleased again to have Mr. Gregory Trey with us tonight to sing My Old Kentucky Home. Please rise and welcome American tenor, Mr. Gregory Trey.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
The sun shines bright in my old Kentucky home. 'Tis summer, the people are gay. The corn tops ripe and the meadows in the bloom, while the birds make music all the day. The young folks roll on the little cabin floor, all merry, all happy and bright. By and by, hard times come a-knocking at the door, then my old Kentucky home, good night. Weep no more, my lady, oh, weep no more today. We will sing one song for my old Kentucky home, for my old Kentucky home, far away. Thank you.
I just kind of never thought that anything I did would fail, right? I mean, things have failed, but I never kind of went into it thinking, well, this might screw up, right? I always assume, well, we'll figure this out one way or another.
I mean, you really, truly never work a day in your life when it's doing something you enjoy with people that you like.
The game of business is about creating success through people, whether it's your customers, your employees, your partners, vendors.
If you go into something, go at it full bore. You got to be able to know that it's your livelihood and how hard you work is what's going to make it successful.
I think from my perspective, what I had was just a terrific work ethic and a drive to succeed that, not necessarily everybody today has.
I think to be successful, you have to like what you're doing. I think you need to find something in that field that you can understand and be highly knowledgeable of.
As I look back, I didn't really know any better, but I just always would hang in there and try to find a way to make it work.
Albert Gray coined it this way: successful people form the habit of doing things unsuccessful people don't like to do.
through business, you can create jobs. Through jobs, you create sustainable people. And if somebody has a job, that's the best form of philanthropy. They can take care of themselves, send their kids to school. I mean, that's the motivation for this. Every day you get to do something that helps somebody else, and that, in the end, is what you're going to remember.
Wow, was that video something? I mean, aren't we blessed in this Commonwealth to have entrepreneurs like we just saw and the ones we're going to honor tonight? So good evening. I hope you enjoyed your dinner. Tonight we will celebrate the stories of Kentucky's most successful entrepreneurs with a mission to raise awareness about the impact entrepreneurship has in our Commonwealth and to encourage others to pursue similar endeavors. November, National Entrepreneur Month. And because of this, Governor Beshear signed a proclamation stating that today, November 2nd, is Entrepreneurship Day here in Kentucky. Join me in thanking Governor Beshear. Now I'd like to recognize the following dignitaries in the room: Kentucky Supreme Court Judge Deborah Hembry Lambert and Secretary Jim Gray of the Kentucky Transportation Center and Secretary Jeff Knoll, Cabinet of Economic Development. Thank you for being with us tonight. This evening would not be possible without the generous support of our silver and gold sponsors, whose names now appear on the screen. They've been rolling while we were eating. Please help me acknowledge the support of these wonderful sponsors. Y'all are clapping very heavy. You're saving it for the entrepreneurs. I understand. And then certainly we want to thank our presenting sponsor, J.P. Morgan Chase. The J.P. Morgan Chase, we believe in entrepreneurship. It's really the lifeblood of our economy. It's definitely the lifeblood of Kentucky's economy. If you look at all the great firms in our Commonwealth, they were started by Kentuckians in this state. For whatever reason, we rarely have a lot of firms move their national headquarters to us. So you see, it's Kentucky-grown companies that make up the majority of the jobs in the state. At J.P. Morgan Chase, we believe in supporting those companies. We support them from the start all the way to fruition when they go public. We also support individuals. We support consumers. We help people fulfill their dreams. We help them buy a car. We help them buy a home. We help them invest in the stock market. We help them grow their business. We help them buy a building. We help them do business internationally. We help them with their 401k. We help them with whatever their needs are to fulfill their dreams. And the way we do it best is we do it with a great team. It's all about culture. End of the day, it's all about culture. I'd like to thank my colleagues who are with us tonight at J.P. Morgan Chase. Thank you all for being here. And finally, we'd like to recognize all the Friends of the Hall of Fame for 2023. Thank you for your generous support. Now it's my pleasure to talk about the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. Been a long-time supporter of the Kentucky Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame since 2016. Just a little note that I'm sure will be mentioned hopefully a couple times later. Brian Rainey started all this back in 2010, and we'll get to hear from him in a minute. But meanwhile, the Chamber of Commerce has had a mission to raise awareness of the impact that entrepreneurship has made in our Commonwealth. So at this time, I'd like to call up the Kentucky's Chamber President, CEO, my friend Ashley Watts, to tell us about the Kentucky Chamber's relationship with the Kentucky Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame. Please join me in welcoming Ashley.
Thank you, Paul, and good evening, everyone. It is so good to see so many friends here tonight, and I just want to thank you for joining us as we celebrate the remarkable achievements of some of Kentucky's most visionary and dedicated entrepreneurs and job creators. Following tonight's induction, 55 individuals will be in this Hall of Fame. Many of these have served on the Kentucky Chamber Board of Directors over the years, and I can personally attest to their contributions making Kentucky the best place to work, live, raise a family, and of course, do business. Kentucky has a rich tradition of entrepreneurship, innovation, and ingenuity, and the individuals we are honoring tonight have exemplified these qualities in the most exceptional ways. They have not only created successful businesses, but they have also helped shape our economy, our communities, and our future. Their stories are a source of inspiration for us all. Behind every successful entrepreneur, there are teams, families, mentors, and communities that provide support, guidance, and encouragement. I know many of you all here in the room tonight are here to support and honor an inductee, and I want to thank you for being here and being a part of their story. As we honor tonight's inductees, I encourage us all to learn from these Kentuckians and the experiences they are going to share. Embrace change. Be unafraid of failure and persevere in the face of adversity. As they will attest, it is the most challenging times that we often find our greatest opportunities. At this time, I would like to introduce one of those champions for innovation and the co-founder of this event, Brian Rainey. Brian is passionate about building an entrepreneurial community here in Kentucky. He has started and invested in several companies. Currently, Brian serves as the CEO of Apex Software and Awesome Inc. Both Apex Software and Awesome Inc. help build the entrepreneurial community here in Kentucky. These companies develop software, they teach software development, and provide resources for others to launch and grow their own companies. Awesome Inc. has helped start hundreds of startups across the state. Apex Software has grown into a Fortune 500, Inc. 5000 company. The purpose of Brian's work is to help others pursue their definition of awesome. Please help me in welcoming Brian Rainey. All right.
Thank you, Ashley, and thank you to the entire Kentucky Chamber team just for an outstanding job. They do such a great job every year with this event. Let's give it up to the entire Chamber team. So when I started my first business in college, I remember people calling me crazy, and I didn't really like it at first. But then I started to think a little bit more about what that word crazy actually means, and how it's used to describe things that fall outside the norm or challenge the status quo. And I decided that perhaps it does take a little bit of craziness to pursue something different like that. One of the greatest and craziest baseball players of all time was Lou Gehrig. Gehrig was also one of the toughest players. He played 2,130 straight games. Never missed a game. Now, to put that in perspective, few Major League Baseball players even make it the full 162 games in a regular season. Now, he did that 13 times. At one point, they had x-rays done on Gehrig's hand, and they learned that he had broken every finger on both hands. But nobody knew it because he played through every one of those injuries. He was one of the crazy tough ones. And I believe our world needs more people who are crazy tough, like Lou Gehrig. I have a friend who's a Navy SEAL, and whenever anyone meets him, their first impression is, this guy is crazy. And they're not wrong. He's told me about some of the crazy ops that he's been on. He also told me about the rigorous training that he has to go through for the BUDS training to become a SEAL. He described it as the toughest 6 months of his life. Now, there's this tradition that if a candidate reaches their breaking point and they want to drop out of the training, then they drag themselves to this bell that's at the center of the training grounds. They ring it 3 times. It announces across the grounds that another candidate has volunteered out. I imagine that we've all had our fair share of moments where we've considered ringing the bell. No matter what career path that we're on, that's probably the case. I know that as an entrepreneur, I certainly have. Many of you know that my wife is also an entrepreneur. And if you know my wife, then you know how crazy tough she actually is. Well, I came home one evening in September to my wife lying on the floor, crying. It was a song, Fix You by Coldplay, was playing on her phone. It There's more than one tear actively running down her face. And she had started her own business about 10 years ago, but that day, things were tough. And that's what being an entrepreneur can do to you sometimes. It can knock you down. As a husband, one of the hardest things to do in life is to watch your wife suffer. Not to make myself out to be the hero of this story, but you do realize that at some point, all of these inductees are going to come onto stage and they're going to thank their spouse for supporting them through the tough times they had to go through. So you're welcome, babe. But the truth is, tough situations are the workshop of authentic entrepreneurship. If you've read the stories of the entrepreneurs in this Hall of Fame, you've probably noticed a trend. They often find themselves in tough situations, sometimes even situations that knock them to the floor. But they don't ring the bell. They get up and they keep going. Hall of Fame entrepreneur Bob Trussell, he found himself in a tough situation when he lost his first investor's $50,000 check. What'd you do, Bob? Did you hide that under your Tempur-Pedic mattress? No, he hadn't bought any yet. He actually lost it at a fast food restaurant. So imagine explaining that to your first investor. Another example is Jim Host. I expect you're all familiar with the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. What you may not know is that it was Hall of Fame entrepreneur Jim Host who was the man behind the construction of this arena. Now, this construction, it took place right around the time when Rick Pitino retired from being a basketball coach so that he could go do some charity work with the Louisville Cardinals. Wasn't sure how that would play. But the project had almost ran out of money multiple times. Host pushed through, though, saving the KFC Yum Center. Dudley, do you and the City Center team know anything about tough situations? I imagine so. But I sure am glad that you persevered through it and you built what is now a staple of our downtown. Joe Steyer, things get tough for you in 2020? Trying to run a healthcare center during COVID? The reality is, the path of an entrepreneur is a tough path. It takes a little bit of crazy to navigate this path. I mean, you'll be told no over and over again. You'll be told you should give up. You can't do it. It's impossible. Foolish. You'll probably make less money in your 20s than some of your friends might make in a single year. You'll work more hours on the weekends than some people work during the week. You will lose friends. You will disappoint your loved ones over and over again. Often miscalculating the right time to say yes or no to that birthday party or family outing, and all in the name of impact. And a payday at the end, it's never guaranteed. Heck, payday's not even a gentleman's agreement in this game. And on this path, you might even find yourself lying on the floor crying when your spouse walks in one evening. And it's in those moments that you might tell yourself that you should give up. You'd be totally justified if you did. But I knew my wife wasn't going to ring the bell that evening. I knew my wife was okay with tough situations, just like all the people that have been inducted into this Hall of Fame. I mean, that's really just the game of life. And if you decide to go hard in this game, you get way more L's than you do W's. We pick ourselves back up. We just try to keep moving forward. And that's why we're here tonight, is to celebrate entrepreneurship, to honor the sacrifices that entrepreneurs endure for the chance, just the chance to make a difference. So maybe you know of an entrepreneur that's taking that chance right now, taking on tough situations. Maybe their financials are messy, or maybe their marketing strategy has gaps in it, or their business model isn't perfectly buttoned up. Help them. Engage with them. Go along the ride with them. I sure am glad that some successful people did that for us when we started this Hall of Fame 14 years ago. One of those people was John Y. Brown. He believed in and he dedicated his life to a better Kentucky. He believed in us in this Hall of Fame. And because he did, we're all here tonight. And I think if he were here tonight, he'd be happy to consider himself one of the crazy ones. One of the crazy ones from Kentucky that didn't back down from tough situations. But instead, he stepped onto the field to play every single game. I want you to watch this video, just a quick tribute to John Y. Brown.
But I will always remember the memories and the good times.
I have many great memories of John Y. Brown over the years, but mostly it's his stories. Nobody could tell a story quite like John Brown.
Thank you, John. Rest in peace.
A real Kentuckian, and our state is better off because of him. So thank you, John Y., for all you did for Kentucky.
He was always very supportive of whatever we decided to do, even in our toughest of times.
It's a spirit that we need to really continue to embody with his passing and celebrate his legacy for years to come. One of my true idols we all look up to.
He was a great man, great entrepreneur, and I'm deeply saddened that he's gone.
He was truly one of a kind. He'll be missed.
Great American, a true Kentuckian, a wonderful entrepreneur, a special person who cared and worked hard to make a difference and did so.
There were a lot of people that believed in us and supported us in this entrepreneurial ecosystem over the past 14 years. And some of those supporters are the inductees themselves. So at this time, I'd like to ask all of the previous Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame inductees that are in attendance tonight, if you could come and make your way to the stage over here to my right to be recognized. And as they make their way to the stage, I'd like to thank these entrepreneurs for the ways in which they've taken on tough situations to positively impact the Commonwealth. Many of these previous inductees, they've made a commitment to invest their time and money into new businesses and entrepreneurs in Kentucky. And with their financial support over the years, the Hall of Fame has been able to launch the fellowship program. This program has provided resources to assist 78 early-stage companies in their entrepreneurial journey. These companies have raised over $132 million in outside funding, created over 700 jobs for the state of Kentucky. The Hall of Fame inductees, they're sharing their stories and advice through a video series called the Founders Series and a book called The Unbridled Spirit, which is on sale in the lobby if you want to check it out. And I'm excited to announce that this year, with the support of many of these Hall of Fame inductees, we've launched a $5 million fund called the Awesome Fund to further invest in the most promising startups in our region. And all of this contributing to the second half of our mission, which is to encourage others to take risks and to pursue similarly ambitious entrepreneurial endeavors. Now, before introducing the previous Hall of Fame inductees, I'd like to invite one of the co-founders of the Entrepreneur Hall of Fame up to the stage to welcome these inductees. Bobby Clark co-founded his first business at the University of Kentucky in 1981, UK Student Agencies. Bobby is currently co-founder of Midwest Clean Energy Enterprises, founder and president of Sustainable Business Ventures, and co-founder of the Kentucky Entrepreneur Network. The first inductee that I'd like to introduce is Lee Todd, class of 2010, Projectron and DataBeam. Jim Host, class of 2010, Host Communications. Dana Bowers, class of 2011, iPay Technologies. Ron Geary, class of 2012, ResCare. Billy Harper, class of 2013, Harper Industries. Phil Greer, class of 2015, Greer Companies. He might be out there. Kent Euler, class of 2016, High Speed Access Corp. and OPM Services. Bob Trussell, class of 2016, Temper Sealy International. Joe Steyer, class of 2017, Signature Healthcare. Jess Carell, class of 2018, First Southern National Bank. Dudley Webb, class of 2019, The Webb Companies. Mike Davis, class of 2019, Apris Inc. Nate Morris, class of 2019, Rubicon Global. Randy Bufford, class of 2021, Trilogy Health Services. And Pat Lancaster, class of 2021, Land Tech. The entrepreneurs behind me are some of my heroes. And in just a minute, when I turn around and I shake their hands, it's one of the highlights of my year. You see, I get to work with entrepreneurs every day. I see firsthand the countless hours, the financial instability, the weight of the responsibility. I see just how crazy tough it must have been to make it onto this stage. So here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, square pegs, and the round holes, the ones who think different. See, they're not fond of rules. They have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, you can disagree with them. You can glorify, or you can vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting entrepreneurship tonight.
A little impromptu, really. Should we give these entrepreneurs a standing ovation? I said it last year, I'll say it tonight, and I'm sure I'll say it next year, God willing. Brian Rainey is an incredible person. That's all there is to it. Before we introduce this year's inductees, we have a couple of awards we would like to present. The first is the Mentor of the Year Award. This award is given to an outstanding individual who's dedicated their time and resources to supporting the entrepreneurial community across the Bluegrass. I'm pleased to be able to award the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame's 2023 Mentor of the Year Award to David Hassler. David's the CEO of Jester EEC, an indoor theme company, formerly known as Malibu Jacks. That name I recognize. He's also the founder and president of Breakthrough Solutions Consulting, a successful consulting firm based on helping growing businesses tell their economic story and providing C-suite level support in both finance and strategy. Over David's career, he has steadily held increasing leadership roles in prominent companies such as Walmart, Procter & Gamble, and Limited Brands. David has experience working in consumer products, retail, and restaurant industry, including roles in manufacturing, R&D, brand management, investor relations, corporate finance, and treasury. That's exhausting. He's also passionate about business ethics, co-authoring a journal article and teaching it and volunteering at both NC State and our University of Kentucky. Please join me in recognizing David as the 2023 Kentucky Entrepreneur Mentor of the Year. The second award is the 2023 Investor of the Year Award. This award is given to an influential individual who has demonstrated the ability to bring value to companies in the form of capital, experience, and leadership. I'm pleased that we're able to present this year the award 2023 Investor of the Year to John Wilmoth. Mr. Wilmoth is a proud native of Kentucky and the founder and managing partner of Poplar Ventures, an early-stage venture capital firm focused on technology companies in Middle America. Poplar Ventures has produced a number of successful exits, including Skyvault, Podchaser, Zermed, QA Symphony, and Aprimo. Over one-third of the firm's investments have been in Kentucky-based companies. Prior to Poplar Ventures, Mr. Wilmoth enjoyed a long career with Nextel Communications in the wireless industry, helping lead that company through an intensive growth phase that included an initial public offering in 1992 and culminated in the company's merger with Sprint in 2005. His investment experience spans seed, early, and growth stages for private, institutional, and corporate ventures. He earned a Bachelor of Arts in Economics from Amherst College and a Master's in Business Administration from the University of Chicago. He previously served as chairman of the board of the Louisville Sports Commission and is a member of the Board of Trustees of DePaul School and currently serves on the board of advisories of the Legacy Foundation of Kentuckiana. He and his wife Karen live in Louisville and have 3 children. Please join me in recognizing John as the 2023 Kentucky Entrepreneur Investor of the Year. Next, I would like to present our 2023 Executive of the Year Award. This award is given to the an influential individual who has demonstrated the ability to bring growth to a company through strong leadership and extraordinary long-term vision. I'm pleased that we're going to be able to present the 2023 Executive of the Year Award to Stephen Gray. Home for Stephen was Glasgow, Kentucky until 1983. There he graduated high school along with Lisa Gum, his future wife, although who would have guessed it then? They did marry in 1992, have 2 children, Carter, who married Lauren Begley this summer, and Ruby. He's found the truest of friends from high school, college, and in Lexington that serve as anchors and examples of trust, honesty, and truth. After college, Stephen was in Washington, D.C., and Mike Ruling gave him his first true job of consequence for the swearing-in ceremony of President George H.W. Bush. As he says to this day, "That was a job I would never give myself at 21 years old." After 3 years in D.C., the call of Kentucky was too strong to ignore. In Lexington, he ran into that girl from high school, Lisa Gum, that did agree to be his wife. Then came his work career for his family business, Gray Construction. He's been surrounded, supported, encouraged, and sometimes necessarily scolded by a family that is emotionally close to the business and fellow team members at Gray that have given their professional lives to this business. Please join me in recognizing Stephen as a 2023 Kentucky Entrepreneur Executive of the Year. At this time, I'd like to invite Dana Bowers to the stage to recognize the 2023 Emerging Entrepreneurs. Please join me in welcoming Dana.
Well, thanks, Paul. So part of the mission of the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame is to encourage future generations of entrepreneurs to pursue ambitious endeavors similar to those by the entrepreneurs that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Emerging Entrepreneur Award recognizes up-and-coming entrepreneurs who are showing real progress against that goal. And so, it's an honor to be able to introduce this year's Emerging Entrepreneurs. Our first Emerging Entrepreneurs are Logan Burchett and Stephen Plappert. Logan is an entrepreneur from Nicholasville, Kentucky, and is currently the founder and COO of Forecaster. Forecaster is an online software that helps founders forecast revenue, predict runway, and understand their numbers, and then get funded. Logan and co-founder Stephen came up with the idea in 2018. Since then, they've grown a wide user base, taken Forecaster through the prestigious Techstars Accelerator, which has a less than 1% acceptance rate, raised over $9 million in venture capital, and they've grown the team to 33 awesome people. They have active partnerships with the best in the business, including Gust, NewChip, Carta, Techstars, Founder Suite, and many more. Prior to Forecaster, Logan spent 3 years acting as an outsourced CFO for pre-seed Series A startups in the Midwest. In this capacity, he constructed hundreds of financial models and helped to raise millions in early-stage capital. He's been the lead on various transactions, including M&A, venture debt, joint ventures, SPVs, and lots more. He holds an MBA in finance from Xavier University, as well as a bachelor's degree in economics from Transylvania. Stephen's a two-time Techstars alum and a serial entrepreneur that loves helping other founders. He spent 8 years providing outsourced financial leadership to growing companies. When he isn't working on Forecaster, you can find him in the woods, camping, and rock climbing. So please welcome Logan and Stephen to the stage.
Thank you all so much. I've got a few notes up here just to make sure that I get to everything I want to get to. First of all, I just want to say it's such an honor just sharing a stage with some of the people that I've seen tonight. Stephen and I are going to do our best to fill the giant shoes that are ahead of us, and seeing an award like this goes a long way for both of us. Entrepreneurship isn't just about working long hours or trying to raise money or create a big exit for a lot of people. It's about building something that's truly bigger than yourself, and it's about community. And I can say confidently that I wouldn't be here without the amazing community that I see in front of me. So in the spirit of that, I want to thank my wife, Mariah, who has been with me through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, my co-founder, Steven, and Steven's family, who have supported us in this entire journey, all of our employees, our investors, and of course, Awesome Inc. for helping us pretty much the entire time that we've been in business. So, Steven, if you have anything else.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Hey, I'm Steven. And the first thing I would like to say is that I am super stoked to be here. This is an awesome event, and I am just like beyond honored to be here. I'm humbled, and just it means the world to me. You know, I'm a third generation entrepreneur. I'm a Kentucky native. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, my father after him, and yeah, just it means a lot to me. And you know, I built my first business, and I went through Techstars down in Austin, Texas, and I learned so much down there, and that business failed, you know, and so I know what that's like. And I came back home to salvage a relationship with my girlfriend, who's now my fiance, and you know, I decided that my next time around, I wanted to build a business right here at home, right here in Kentucky, you know, because I think this is a great state. I think it's an amazing community, and you know, I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. And Logan and I were actually honored to be a part of the board meeting here tonight for the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. And man, what an incredible group of people and just some amazing entrepreneurs that inspire us. So really cool. And I'd just like to say a few thank yous. First and foremost to my parents, Jim and Kathy, here in the audience here tonight. They just don't make better parents than my mom and dad. They love me so much and just inspired me and like fostered me. And even in my first business, they put $25,000 up with my first check-in. They said, Steven, like, this is your MBA, go get an MBA. And that was 3 years of my life. It was the best MBA I ever could have gotten. And so I owe so much to them. I'd be nothing without you guys. And of course, my lovely fiance, Emily, who's there for me through thick and thin. You know, she's been with me for 10 years now. I started dating her the first month I started my first company. So she's really been through it all, and she sees the worst of me, you know, as our loved ones often do. You know, when I'm tired, when I'm stressed, when I, you know, take the mask off at home and you know, and I'm not my best self. And so I really appreciate you being there for me, babe. And yeah, just thank you guys so much.
Congratulations, guys. Our next emerging entrepreneur is Kobe Hastings. Congratulations, Kobe. Kobe is the founder and CEO of Sales River, an enterprise sales management platform serving over 25,000 insurance agents from over 200 agencies and carriers in the U.S. Kobe began his entrepreneurial career with his first business building web applications at 16 years old in Louisville. After earning his computer science degree at Eastern, in 2015, he became highly involved in the blockchain industry, working as lead engineer for a startup in Lexington. In 2017, Kobe started his own blockchain development firm, serving several large banks and corporates in the US, Asia, and Europe. In 2018, Kobe and his team realized how disconnected the insurance industry was, so they set out to build Sales River. The company was self-funded for its first 4 years in business until they raised a Series A investment in December of 22. Sales River is based in Lexington with 23 full-time employees. In Kobe's free time, he enjoys playing golf when he can and then hanging out with his wife, Shelby, and his two daughters, River. I am wondering maybe where the name came from, River and Harley. So please welcome Kobe to the stage.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be up here tonight. 2 years ago,
I attended this event, and I remember when the night ended, walking to my car, I had this overwhelming feeling of inspiration. Inspired by the conversations I had with fellow entrepreneurs, the stories that the inductees told that year on stage, and just the sheer amount of people that showed up and just had interest in entrepreneurship. So my hope for you all tonight is that you leave here with that same feeling of inspiration that I had 2 years ago. I started my entrepreneurial career when I was 16. I had learned how to write code in high school. It didn't take long for me to figure out I may be able to make money doing this. And so I started my first business. I remember the things that my parents said to me. My dad, he said something along the lines of, "But I don't know anything about this, but just be careful and pay your taxes." And then my mom, word for word, said, "Kobe, please don't go to jail." And so even though they had their concerns, they supported me through everything I've done. And so I want to give a special thank you to them just for their support and their just lifelong commitment to teaching me how to be a great leader. This is harder than I thought. I also want to thank my wife, Shelby, who's here tonight, right over here. She's been with me for 14 years. Somehow she's still with me. And that is my entire entrepreneurial career. She's been there through the ups and downs, and is also an incredible mother to our two girls. So join me in giving it up for Shelby. And lastly, I want to thank our team at Sales River. One of my favorite books is Good to Great by Jim Collins, and there's a quote in there that says, "If we get the right people on the bus and the right people in the right seats and the wrong people off the bus, then we can figure out how to take it someplace great." When I got this award, Brian called me a few months ago and told me, it was an honor, and as soon as that phone call ended, I felt like this award wasn't mine. This award was earned by the people around me, the people on the Sales River bus. And so I'm incredibly grateful for their hard work. There's a few of them here tonight. Can't look at y'all. Incredibly grateful for their hard work and just dedication to our vision as a company. So as I said in the beginning, I hope you all leave here tonight with that feeling of inspiration that I had. The world needs entrepreneurs like you. So keep dreaming, keep fighting, and never settle for anything less than great. Thank you.
Okay, our final emerging entrepreneur is Jennifer Williams. Jennifer is a serial entrepreneur and was the founder of Cuddle Clones, which had an exit in late 2021. She has a BS in mathematics and business from the University of Puget Sound and an MBA from the University of Louisville. Jennifer spent 10 years as a benefits consulting actuary, and I'm trying to get the leap, right? Well, I'm trying to get the leap from that to Cuddle Clone. And her last job before making the entrepreneurial leap was with PwC. She's actively involved in the entrepreneurial community in Louisville. She currently runs a small startup studio called Working Title Labs. WTL currently has Cartoonize My Pet, a pet tech company, and Stuff by Text, a mobile commerce platform. WTL also provides bookkeeping and fractional CFO services for multiple startups in the region. You have to be the busiest lady that I've ever met, so help me welcome Jennifer to the stage.
Good to see you again. It's good to see you speaking with our club. Hello, everyone. Some quick thank yous. Everyone who's supported me over the years, specifically Elizabeth Roundsevall for nominating me for this award. My husband, Danny, who fortunately has a lot of his own little projects, like fixing up an old Jeep or building a chicken coop on our little farm and everything while I work, which is true. I do a lot of work. I would like to thank my co-founder, Adam Green, who believed in cuddle clones from our days at the University of Louisville when I presented it to the class as one of my ideas. If you don't know, Cuddle Clones makes very, very good replicas that are plush versions of your pet, so they're all custom. I would like to emphasize the word emerging for my award because I'm just getting started, people. I am fortunate to have gone through from founding a company to exit, which is great. I did get a little bit of the Midas touch fallacy of like, oh, everything I start is gonna be gold after this. But now I have also rung the bell on some startups, but I have not rung the bell on myself. So just seen it all. And then my final thing is, we talk a lot about big inspiration and big ideas, but really what it comes down to, I think, is the customers coming back to you and telling you how much they love your brand. One lady ran up to me at a conference and she was like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you this story. I'm adopting 2 children from Thailand, and they're a brother and a sister, and I have 2 dogs at home, and I couldn't bring the dogs to go meet the children. So I got cuddle clones of the dogs, and I brought them to Thailand with me so that my future children could meet the dogs and love them before they came home and met the dogs in person. So, you can't make that stuff up. And then the other one was, when I started Cuddle Clones, I didn't really realize the impact that we would have on, people grieving when they lose a pet. But to take it one step further, there was a woman who had 2 Chihuahuas, and they would always lay in the same bed together. They were inseparable. And one of them passed away, and her other dog, who was still alive, would not even go near that bed anymore. And so she got a cuddle clone of it in a laying down position, and she put it in the bed, and sure enough, the other Chihuahua laid down right in that bed next to it. And so it's those kinds of things that keep us going through all of the hard times. And, yeah, so thank you very much for this award, and you'll see me again, hopefully someday up here on the podium again.
Big fan of Cuddle Clones, just so you know. Now it gives me great pleasure to begin the formal induction process of the class of 2023. Our first inductee of the evening is Jimmy Kirchdorfer. Please join me in learning a little bit more about Jimmy Kirchdorfer.
Jimmy Kirchdorfer, Chairman and CEO of ISCO Industries, Inc. James Kirchdorfer Jr., or Jimmy as he's known, he's a proud alum of the Catholic school system in Louisville, Kentucky. And after, Jimmy then went on to graduate with a degree in business from Miami University. Jimmy began his career at ISCO in the early 1990s, working summers during college. In 1993, he became one of the first ISCO sales representatives to live outside of Louisville, Kentucky. Working his way through the ranks, he was named general manager, then president, and has been chairman and CEO since 2010. With humble beginnings in a family hardware store, ISCO has seen tremendous growth over the years and has become a global leader in HDPE piping solutions. In 2022, along with 3 other partners, Jimmy purchased Valhalla Golf Club. He is the general chair of the 2024 PGA Championship. He was named Ernst & Young 2004 Entrepreneur of the Year for the Kentucky and Ohio region, named one of the most admired CEOs by Louisville Business First magazine in 2019, and received the 2020 J.W. Janes Award for his contribution to the growth of amateur golf in Kentucky, and was inducted into the Kentucky Golf Hall of Fame 2021 class. Jimmy currently serves on several boards, primarily supporting youth golf programs and advancing educational opportunities in Kentucky. He resides in Louisville with his wife Dana and their 2 children, Jay and Emma. Congratulations to Jimmy Kirchdorfer on his Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame induction.
Here to introduce Jimmy is his brother Mark Kirchdorfer, president of ISCO Industries. 2 young men, at least they were 30 years ago, who I got to know then and have watched have this remarkable success. I feel so blessed to be able to introduce Mark. Mark?
Good evening. So Jimmy, you know, every time I called you crazy and a rebel and a troublemaker, I was just complimenting you on how great of an entrepreneur you are. And congratulations tonight. For those of you who don't know about our company, ISCO, it's because our product is literally underground. But we are a manufacturer and distributor of high-density polyethylene pipe with 35 locations throughout the US and Canada. And we've been on a remarkable growth story ever since Jimmy joined the business 30 years ago. But what's truly remarkable is how Jimmy has done it. And you know, Jimmy has a passion for golf, and you can see in his video some of his accomplishments. But early in his career, he made the unlikely and difficult choice to sell our golf irrigation business and invest all the proceeds to acquire a competitor in the pipe side of the business. And this really laid the foundation for our growth. Jimmy's a visionary leader. In the late 90s, he created the $100 million vision. And 6 years later, he created the $250 million vision. And currently, we're knocking on the door of his billion-dollar baby vision. So what's important about Jimmy's visions is that it's not just a dollar threshold. There are several attributions that we have to do to meet that, and it always ends in no change in mission or core values. So our ISCO's business success has allowed Jimmy to pursue his passion for golf on a much larger scale. So in June of last year, Jimmy purchased Valhalla Golf Club, and he's applied the same long-term vision, heavy investment, and win-win philosophy to transform the property and the club. And under Jimmy's leadership, Valhalla is sure to go on to have many more major golf championships in the future. Jimmy creates a recognition culture in every business that he creates. And you know, prior to ever being inducted in a Hall of Fame himself, he created the ISCO Hall of Fame to honor legendary ISCO team members. So it was very fitting in 2021, Jimmy joined the Kentucky Golf Hall of Fame. And please join me in welcoming Jimmy to the stage as he's inducted in the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame.
Wow, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. You know, one interesting thing, Paul kind of alluded to it. Where are you, Paul? When I first got out of school, the very first banker I ever met was Paul Costell, and here he is on the stage with me tonight. So very ironic, so thanks, Paul. But first of all, it is a great honor to you see the people, men and women that were up here on the stage, and I look at the past recipients and still can't believe that I've been inducted to be at a Hall of Fame with those 50 plus people, and that's a huge honor of everything that's all the honors that I've ever seen. That's something I'm extremely proud of. I'd like to thank my family, which they made the video, which was great. My wife Dana and a lot of people talked about the importance of a great spouse and during the entrepreneur growth stage, and I was blessed with that, and it's been great. My daughter Emma is also here with me tonight, and my son Jay, I'd like to thank him too, and my sister and Teresa, but my brother coming up here, and it's just great to have him be the person that talks about me. I mean, we're such a close relationship. We've been in this business. We had the fortune of coming in and working with our father, and then been able to work together and grow it. I'll tell you a quick story about Mark. We've been close since we were kids, and he's 4 years younger than me. But we had a grass cutting business, and maybe this was our first kind of entree into business. But I would go sell the jobs, and he would go mow the grass. And it's amazing how hard he would work for $1. I mean, it was great. But it's been a great relationship and being business partners. One of the things that we both believe in strongly is really it's about the people. I'm fortunate to have some of my coworkers here tonight from ISCO as well. But we've always taken the approach that really we put our people first, our customers second, and then shareholders third, ourselves. And learn that, you know, if you do number 1 and number 2 right, then number 3 here, us will be just fine. And we've taken our mission statement, which we've always stayed true to, is to create long-term opportunities for members of the ISCO team. And the only way to create opportunities for people is to have a growing business. If the business stays flat, you know, who wants to work at a company that's kind of leveled out and there's not a lot of opportunity? So we say we have to grow. We were fortunate. Our father got us in this business. But if we were just working here, coming in the door, we want to be with a company that was growing. So how do we grow it? And we've had a lot of success, and the number one reason is getting the right people on our team. And I don't know what we've done right, but we've been able to attract really good people and keep them. And I think the recognition culture, one thing I learned from my friend David Novak, who is an expert on recognition culture, we've been able to do that, so it's really nice to kind of be recognized here. But yeah, we have all kind of awards at ISCO. It's a lot of fun giving those out and recognizing the success that we're having in our own ISCO Hall of Fame. One of my favorite time of the year is when we bring back people that worked at ISCO and helped create what we've done and honor them in the ISCO Hall of Fame. So I'd like to thank the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. It's a great organization. It was very inspiring tonight. It makes me want to go start a business right now. I don't think my wife would like that, but you know, in the chamber and the sponsors and everybody. One thing I want to close with is what the game of golf has done for me. My brother talked about Junior Bridgman and David Novak and Chess Musselman and myself buying Valhalla. And it was important to us. We were members. We wanted to kind of keep it locally owned and continue to bring back major championships to Louisville. And we felt if it fell in the wrong hands, that wouldn't happen. But golf has been a big part of my life. And I think thinking about the game, and you know, my brother and I played as junior golfers. We would come home, and no matter how we did, you know, golf, you have some days you did really well and some days you did terrible. But I remember my mother saying something very wise. She said, "I've never seen a happy golfer." She says, no matter what, she didn't understand the game, no matter what you shoot, you always come home and said it could have been better. And I'm thinking, you know, that's so true, and that is the exact same thing in business. When you're trying to grow a business, no matter how good the year was or whatever, you're always thinking, you know, this could be better. It could have been better. It could have been better. And I think I owe my father for putting a golf club in my hand at a very young age, for me learning that lesson, although it was kind of tough some days coming home from golf. But, you know, you're always striving to get better. So that's been a big part of my life, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you, everyone, and thank you to the Hall of Fame. And Brian, that was fantastic. Everything you said, again, inspired me, and meeting everyone here, the past recipients, has inspired me greatly. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. Having seen Jimmy and Mark play golf, their best days, I mean, their worst days, far exceeded my best days at golf, I'll tell you that. Our second inductee of the evening is Tony Lamb. I think they only have about 100 people here tonight. Please join me in learning a little more about who Tony is.
Tony Lamb is the founder and CEO of Kona Ice and Travelin' Tom's Coffee. When Tony launched Kona Ice in 2007, he wanted to give families a better ice cream truck experience after his 3-year-old daughter had an awful encounter with an ice cream truck man. Since then, Tony Lamb has revolutionized the food truck space, and Kona Ice has grown into the world's largest food truck company with more than 1,700 franchisee-owned trucks in 49 states and Canada. Keeping the same vision, Tony launched Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck in 2020. With 150 franchise trucks on the road by the end of 2023, Tom's Coffee is growing exponentially with over 300 reservations for future trucks. Kona Ice has been recognized by Entrepreneur Magazine's Franchise 500, rated #1 new franchisee in the US in 2013, and regularly in the top 25 fastest growing franchises. Kona Ice has been consistently ranked #1 and #2 in franchisee satisfaction by Franchise Business Review for the past 12 years. Additionally, Tony was named the 2021 Chief Executive Officer for a large private company by Cincinnati Business Courier. This program honors executives who have shown outstanding leadership and stellar performance at greater Cincinnati businesses and nonprofits. Congratulations to Tony Lamb for his Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame induction.
I love that love they're showing. That's unbelievable. Here to introduce Tony is Ed Reynolds, founder and chairman of Eagle Financial Services, located throughout Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana, as well as president of Sims Furniture and Mattress, located throughout Kentucky, as well as Southwest Ohio. Please join me in welcoming Ed.
When Tony gave me the honor of introducing him, he gave me one simple rule. He said, "Ed, don't try to be funny." Tony, I know funny, but I'm going to keep it straight like I promised. So here we go. Why Ed Reynolds should be inducted into the Kentucky Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame instead of Tony freaking Lamb, by Ed, always a bridesmaid Reynolds. When I first heard that Tony Lamb was being inducted into the Kentucky Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame, I had two questions. The first question, and I'm sure it occurred to every one of us here when we heard the news, is who knew there was a Kentucky Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame? The second and more obvious question, why am I not in it? The Academy has only given us 2 minutes to talk, and Tony gets 8, so that sounds about right. If I do run over a little bit, the golden child, we're just going to have to eat into his precious time. Here are the facts. Fact, Ed Reynolds started a finance company in Kentucky that now serves over 100,000 customers in 3 states. Tony drives around in a toy truck. Fact, Tony, I turn lemons into Kona-flavored lemonade, is actually from West Virginia. Ed Reynolds' family is from Pendleton County, Kentucky. Fact, Ed Reynolds owned a failed restaurant of epic proportion. Now that's entrepreneurial spirit. Tony has never owned a restaurant. He's not even willing to try. Fact, Ed Reynolds graduated from Eastern Kentucky University. Tony graduated from a little wannabe, wish they were colonels, community college, the University of Kentucky. Jealous much, Tony? Fact, Ed Reynolds is much taller than Tony Lamb. In fact, Ed was mistaken for Tony Lamb a little bit earlier tonight by some lovely ladies, and I had to tell him that he's the little guy who looks a lot like me running around. But I could probably beat him in a foot race too. For goodness sakes, Tony, if you stand up, Tony's wearing jeans to this prestigious event. Is it so hard to follow the rules, Tony? We were given a dress code. Today is actually Tony's birthday. Of course it is. Perfect timing, just like everything in Tony's life. For my birthday, the kids chipped in and bought me a coffee mug. Yes, Kona Ice has over 1,700 franchises in 49 states, but you missed North Dakota, Tony. That's far from perfect. And sure, Tony is the greatest entrepreneur that I've ever met, but you can't meet yourself. Fact, Tony Lamb has developed a turnkey model for people who have entrepreneurial ambition. And if they work hard and follow his plan, they are having incredible success. How incredible? Not only does Kona Ice have the country's highest franchisee satisfaction ever recorded by Franchise Business Review, I haven't heard of them either. But Kona also has the lowest franchisee turnover rate in their history. I say, big whoop. Fact, Tony has provided thousands of people the ability to work for themselves, changing countless lives. Today's Kona Ice was built in a mere 16 years. Eagle Finance has been in business for 25 years. Attention people, that's 9 more years. This past year, Kona Ice sold over 65 million cups of shaved ice. That's roughly 20% of the population in the United States. To most people, that would be astounding. To me, I say, so what? Essentially, we're falling all over ourselves to honor a guy who figured out yet another way to sell sugar to children. Ridiculous. So now that I'm aware of the Kentucky Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame, I'll be sure to add it to the list of stops on this summer's family vacation. It'll be right up there with my trip to see the big metal abacus in Louisville, as well as the world's largest pocket knife in Radcliffe. I have no chance of getting in at this point, do I? In conclusion, I would like to nominate Ed Reynolds as a 2024 inductee into the Kentucky Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame, as well as introduce the man who is almost as successful as myself, Tony freaking Lamb.
See, I knew I shouldn't have had him do the introduction. That caught me off guard. For those of you guys who don't know this, when Brian had called me to tell me the news, I was very flattered. I asked Layla if she would kind of help me lay everything out. And unbeknownst to me, 70 people from corporate decided to come down and visit with us. But what I didn't know until I got here tonight, that over 50 of my franchisees from across the country got on planes, got in cars, and drove up here. I love you guys. You're the best people in the world. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's all in a big rouge to make me cry, and I'm not going to cry. I'm going to cry probably just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just enough to... Well, anyway. Now, listen, one thing Ed did say that I had 8 minutes to talk, and someone told me I had 4. So is that a combined of 12? Is that what that is? Because 4 from you guys and 8 from him, because I got a solid 20 minutes. And then I'd like to sing a song. I want to do Sinatra's My Way, and I want to do it twice. I want to do it with accompaniment, and then I want to do it a cappella, if anybody's... and I'm not much of a singer, but you'll get the emotion. I think that's what you're really going to get. Why did I let Ed Reynolds introduce me? I don't know. It took half my material. I'm blown away. I tell you what I will do. I will work hard to make sure that Ed never gets into the Kentucky Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame. That's it. I'm blown away. I was so flattered. I was caught off guard. I was honored when Brian, you called, and I'm a very skeptical person, and I thought, how much is this going to cost me? And it wasn't about that at all. It was a recognition from people that nominated and people that in the past inductees that have voted, and I'm just blown away, and I'm so touched by this opportunity and this recognition. It's beyond anything I can imagine. But I wanted to kind of thank people, and I wanted to do it in a little untraditional way, because I do think it's been said many times that people are just an aggregate of the influence of the people in their lives. And it's so true. It's unbelievably true. My friends, 70 of my friends are here tonight, and they are some of the most brilliant people I've ever worked with and been friends with. It is incredible However, over the past 5 to 10 years, I have realized that I might not be the smartest guy in the world. And so if I'm not the smartest guy and I'm thinking you guys are brilliant, it might be that you guys aren't really that smart. So it might be that we're just a bunch of dummies driving around selling sugar to children. And that's a very good possibility. But then I thought, when I saw them all down here and they all got on a bus and drove down here, I had this other epiphany. And I'm going to ask Susan, our HR director, is everybody on the clock? Okay, yes. Everybody is still on the clock. So who's the dummies now? Because by applause, if you're getting paid to be here right now, let me hear about it. What do I tell you? Brilliant people. I get the opportunity of working with them. My family is here tonight. I was blown away. I came in, my family I grew up with, my 2 brothers are here. My brothers, who are great guys, and I'm going to tell you this, who, when we grew up in West Virginia, they were nurturing and loving and supportive. They were not. They were none of that. They were brutal, abusive. They called me names. They had nicknames I can't even repeat. The only one they called me was Nipper, and that's the only one I can say. But their birthdays happened right after Brian had called me, and I did not call them on their birthdays. I didn't call them. I didn't text them. Nothing, because I knew on my birthday they'd be sitting at that table right there, looking up at old Nipper. And my sister's here. My sister, who I love dearly. She's just the absolute greatest person in the world. We dated briefly in high school, but then we all moved to Kentucky, and you guys have got rules against things like that. But it's fantastic. My mom and dad are here. My little mother. My mother's like 4'8" with heels, and she's just this powerhouse woman. We're launching a new brand called Beverly Ann's Cookies. It's warm cookies and ice cream. That's coming next on the agenda. The Traveling Tom's is named after my dad. But my mom was this unbelievable, supportive person in my life, and it reminded me of one time when I was in high school. I got caught for forging my absentee list. And the principal called me in the office and he said, "Hey, Tony, we've caught you forging your absentee list, and we're going to have to suspend you, and we're going to call your parents." And I was like, "Well, all right, I understand." And so they got on the phone and they called. He said, my mom answered the phone. I remember my mom, and Beverly, this is Bill Strader down here at Parkersburg High School, and we'd like to let you know that we caught Tony forging his absentee slips. And she said, "Yes, I'm aware." And I was sitting on the other side of the table, and I was like, "Well, that's an interesting response." And he said, "Well, we're going to be suspending him from school." And she said, "Yeah, I don't think so." And I went, and they end up getting into a verbal battle, and I did not get suspended from school, and I think I got an A. And said something. My mom was a powerhouse of support. She backed me no matter what. I could do no wrong. My dad is the serial entrepreneur. He was a vacuum cleaner salesman his whole life growing up. I had such a weird, skewed vision of life. My dad drove probably the finest car in town. We lived in a beautiful house. My buddies in school would say, their dads are doctors or lawyers or bankers, and they would say, what does your dad do? And I was like, "He's a vacuum cleaner salesman." "What does your dad do?" And he goes, "My dad's the president of the bank." And I was like, "And he drives an Oldsmobile. Remind me not to major in bank presidency when I go to college." That's my life growing up. I aspired to be a vacuum cleaner salesman. And this is the life that I had. It was amazing. My family, my kids are here. All my kids are here. And they're hilarious. And they're smart. More hilarious than smart. They're great kids. They're absolutely, come on, they are the funniest kids. But we've gone to this place in our lives now. Now, when we sit down at family dinner on Tuesday nights, they're all out of the house and they come back for family dinner, and we sit down, and I find myself becoming the butt of every joke. And I'm like, oh, this is where we've gone in life. They're tremendous kids. They work hard. They do an amazing job. And as everybody has said, I've got my wife of 31 years who has done everything. Unbelievable. But Susie has backed every hairball idea I've ever had. She would support me unconditionally except for one thing. She said, "You have to work outside the home." She said, you cannot work from a home office. And I was like, well, why is that? She said, because you drive me crazy. So I will support you unconditionally. Get out of the house. And it inspired me to get an office building. And we started Kona High. She said, you just got to go out. And that was good inspiration. But she's been my buddy. She's been my amigo, my partner in crime. We've done everything together. And I'm not going to cry. And she's just always been there. And it's been really remarkable. So you're an aggregate of the people and the influences in your life. And if you hear those stories and you think about these incredible people that I get to work with, that franchise from Kona, that are my teammates, and you look at my family and you look at I would feel all that support. I think, and when I thought about this, I would feel less. I would be embarrassed if I wasn't standing in front of you here today. Because with that kind of support system, with that kind of team, with that kind of things, it is incredible. You should achieve this. You should be able to sell 1,700 franchises and keep building and growing and build a great company because of the people that are in my life. And I'm so grateful for that. And last thing, I want to promise you, beyond the shadow of a doubt, under no circumstances will Ed Reynolds ever be inducted into the Kentucky Hall of Fame. And I'm saying that as a joke because if it wasn't for Ed Reynolds, I would not be standing here today. Well, actually, I probably would be standing here, but it wouldn't be. Ed backed me in the beginning. Ed supported me. Ed he still edifies me to the unbelievable degree. He is the personification, the definition of a true friend. And I love you, buddy. So thank you guys so much. Let's do it.
Our final inductee of the evening is Donna Salyers. Please join me in watching and learning a little bit more about Donna.
Donna Salyers is president and founder of Fabulous Furs. Beginning with a faux fur sewing kit she designed and assembled in their basement, Donna Salyers' Fabulous Furs has grown into a majority asset of Salyers Group, a diversified investment company. Her products are sold through catalog, internet, retail, and wholesale accounts in over 4,000 hotels, stores, and boutiques, including Nordstrom, Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, plus TV shopping networks Shop HQ and Australia's TVSN. Inspiration occurred in the late 1980s when, on her way to purchase a mink coat, Donna chanced to hear a broadcast describing kittens being skinned alive for mink teddy bears. Instead of buying a coat, she set out to create a luxurious alternative. Known as the world's finest faux furs, her designs have appeared in hundreds of Broadway productions, movies, and TV shows, plus every major fashion magazine. Donna was profiled in People magazine and twice in the Wall Street Journal. A retail showroom in Covington, Kentucky houses Donna Salyers' Fabulous Furs and Fabulous Bridal. Salyers Group opened Hotel Covington in late 2017 and added 52 suites in 2023, complementing the Madison Event Center they opened in 1989. Donna wrote a syndicated newspaper column for 17 years, leading to a video series, a national TV show, and 8 books. Congratulations to Donna Salyers on her Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame induction.
Here to introduce Donna is her daughter, Amanda Van Roen, Chief Creative Officer, VR Hospitality. Please help me welcome Amanda.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here, and I couldn't be more thrilled to introduce the next honoree. From the day she was born, she was destined to do fabulous things. No matter how small of a town and upbringing she always had big dreams and a huge heart. One of 3 sisters growing up in Taylor Mill, Kentucky, her family taught her the value of a penny and the meaning of hard work. As a young girl, she began working in a retail store in the big city, which was Covington, Kentucky. And she began writing, then starting a television sewing show, and finally at 42 years old, with a wish, a prayer, a love for animals, and a helpful, supportive husband by her side, Donna Sawyer's Fabulous Furs was hatched. Fearless and utterly unstoppable, she has achieved and surpassed every small business owner's wildest dream and expectation. From the snootiest buyers at Saks Fifth Avenue, television and movie stars, to Oprah, Mariah Carey, The Real Housewives, even the lead singer of the rock band Kiss, Paul Stanley, they all love Donna Sawyer's Fabulous Furs. She always shows up, she always says yes, and she will always be my mom, and she will always be fabulous. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce the one and only Donna Sawyers.
Luckiest person in the world. I cry at everything, whether I'm happy or sad, I cry. But everything I had on my nose has been said at least twice tonight, so forget that. But Brian, when you moved inside my head because you described me and you described my husband, two entrepreneurs and one family is really more than one couple can normally stand, but I still can't believe that I could hear a radio broadcast and then start a sewing kit company and then grow to a manufacturer who's sold in 46 countries. Do you think Covington is a fashion capital? Not even close. And if you're not from New York, most people don't even want to talk to you. But we lived on Madison Avenue in a dime store, and nobody knew that, but they just knew I was on Madison Avenue. They just didn't know which Madison Avenue. So Vogue magazine or whatever magazine would say, can you courier over a coat? Well, I can have it there tomorrow morning, but it won't be in the next few minutes. But so TVs, TV stars and TV movies, all kinds of things have happened that made Fabulous Furs grow. And just people buying coats, hundreds of thousands of coats. And along the way, my husband Jim, because we were living in Covington in a total depressed neighborhood, it became our motivation Jim started buying up buildings and improving them. And our son, he didn't study construction management, but he became our contractor. And he would bring in jobs under budget and on time. And then our daughter, she was living in Seattle with her soon-to-be husband. And we said, come back to Covington. We'll have jobs for you. What are they going to do, Jim? And so Amanda started our wholesale division. And today we have 4,000 wholesale accounts, including, she could cold call Nordstrom and get an appointment with Peter. And so we've had those experiences. I have no one here with me tonight because they're all back in Covington so that they can get up and work early tomorrow. So we keep the lights burning and we reinvent ourselves every year. And it's what entrepreneurs do. We just, no matter how hard it is, we will not be giving up, and we will just find some new way, something that we haven't thought of. We don't ring the bell, just like Brian's wife did not. And so I accept this award for all the entrepreneurs who dream big dreams and who don't give up and who make our country great. Without entrepreneurs and small businesses, I think we would be nowhere. Corporate great corporations are great, but it's the small businesses that provide the jobs and improve the neighborhoods and keep us all going. So I would thank you, Janice Way, for nominating me, and to Awesome. You're awesome, and the things that Brian has done. And I've been so inspired by so many people that I've heard tonight and met today. And so I thank you for being here, and God bless you, and God bless the United States. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Donna. Wow. Donna, I have to say that Fabulous Furs is probably my wife's favorite company of the inductees tonight. Lessons learned, right? You have to be a little bit crazy to be an entrepreneur. Never ever give up. Never ring that bell. Recognize that you are not necessarily the smartest person in the room, but the aggregate of the people that you support. What a difference family can makes. All the entrepreneurs talked about the importance of family. We were fortunate to see father-daughter, 2 brothers, and I don't know, Ed, what that relationship is. I don't know. Staying away. And then nobody really knows if you're on Madison Avenue in Covington, Kentucky, or Madison Avenue in New York City. I love that. Congratulations to all the honorees tonight. This evening would not be possible without J.P. Morgan Chase, but all of our gold and silver sponsors. I want to thank special thanks to Cal Bedford with the Kentucky Chamber, all the Kentucky Chamber staff, as always, do an amazing job of putting on an event. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thanks for your support. Thanks for the support of the Kentucky Chamber. Thanks for your support of Awesome. Thanks to Brian Rainey. Thanks to Ashley Watts. Everybody have a great evening. Travel safe.